This video was made possible by EA Game Changers. Hello there everybody, it is me XfreezerBunny and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. So today I am so excited to bring you guys an early look at the brand new expansion pack for The Sims 4, Discover University. So we are in Brightchester. Now Brightchester is one of the 2 university campuses that you have the option to attend if you have Discover University. The other one is located across town. It's Foxbury Institute, and these 2 universities have a rivalry, and it's kind of fun seeing that play through. But Brightchester is the more traditional, arts-oriented campus, while Foxbury is the more modern, tech-oriented campus. So today we're actually building a new type of building, which is a student housing. That's a new lot type that came with university, and this is a fully functional dorm, believe it or not. This one is called Crumplebottom Hall. Now the in-game explanation for that name is that basically this used to be a faculty housing. You know how in older universities they would have housing for faculty that's like nicer compared to the student housing, and basically one of its notable residents was a certain Professor Crumplebottom. Is she Agnes Crumplebottom? Who knows? I have a feeling that Agnes Crumplebottom is still alive in the Sims 4 universe, so I'm gonna be very vague about which Crumplebottom it is, but it is Professor Crumplebottom. And basically this is built in honor of one of their notable occupants, which is Professor Crumplebottom, as I mentioned earlier. And recently this has been converted into student housing, so it is now open to students for occupancy. Basically that is because of the university's growing number of attendants, so that's why they decided to convert this old faculty housing into student housing. So basically this is just a traditional British inspired double fronted house. I wanted to make this have like a brick finish on the exterior, but the new brick texture that came with Discover University was a little bit too over the top, so I ended up using this yellow kind of like stone texture, which is also very, very beautiful. I have seen British houses have this finish on the exterior, but I don't think it's as common as like brick, because literally I did a Google search of double fronted houses and like all of them were like brick houses. But I did see some houses like this in Scotland, and I gotta say painting it in this brick texture made it look a lot better here in Brightchester, because it kind of matched all of the buildings next door, because they all have this brick texture. And I gotta say, I love that new brick wallpaper. It's so beautiful. I could see that working in older builds and also in more modern contemporary builds as well. And I did make it a point to use as much university content as I can here, so even a lot of the debug objects I used are from university. I'm not sure if you guys caught it, but earlier we also used a new feature where we can basically stretch the columns or extend them to whatever height we want, and I use them as kind of like this edging, coining type thing to the corners of this house. And I'm using that beautiful ivy that comes with University, which you can also find in debug as well. Now, I did make it a point to use as few packs in this build as I can, so I ended up using a lot less packs than I normally would. So in the end, I ended up using all expansion packs, so that's 7 packs, and also Jungle Adventures, Parenthood, Moschino, Laundry Day, Kids Room Stuff, and Luxury Party. Now, I've only used like 1 or 2 items from some of the packs that I mentioned, like Jungle Adventure, for example. I've only used like 1 plant, and Luxury Party as well. I've only used the buffet for that. Actually, pretty much most of the packs that I mentioned, I've only used a couple of items, except for probably Cats and Dogs and Get Together. I feel like those 2 packs have a very complementary style to what we got with University, so I definitely used a lot of items from those packs. But other than that, if you don't have any of the items that I mentioned, you can still download this. You won't really miss out on a lot, because like I said, a lot of the stuff I use here are from University. So one of the things that I did struggle with in University is using those windows. Now, I gotta say, I love all of the new items, but the windows I feel like could have used more sizing options, because a lot of the classical windows are only 2 tiles wide, and obviously that's doesn't make them very versatile. So I think it would have been great to have the classical windows come in 1 tile versions of themselves. I did talk to a friend about it, and they said that they were gonna make a CC add-on to these windows, which is much needed, and I'm very excited about that. I'm not gonna talk about that too much, because I'm gonna leave it up to them to talk about that themselves. But here I was struggling with finding a good wallpaper, because we didn't get that many in Discover University. I think we got very few traditional interior wallpapers. I think this is the only one I could think of, to be honest. So I tried using different wallpapers. I was so close to using ones from Realm of Magic, but I just decided not to, because I really like this new wallpaper from Discover University anyway. I wish it came with more color swatches. By the way, notice that I'm only talking about build by mostly in this video, because as of now I still really haven't gotten a chance to play with the gameplay itself, and as you guys know, I have some concerns about gameplay, but I don't think it would be fair to this pack if I trashed it for the gameplay without experiencing the full experience, basically. So I'm gonna reserve my comments for the gameplay after I've finished playing through the whole University experience. But as for the build by mode items, I gotta say I'm very happy. I think for Create a Sim, I am even more happier, because I feel like there's not a single item from Create a Sim that I didn't like. For builds by mode items, I gotta say all of the items are great. I could definitely see myself using them a lot in other builds, but I feel like they could have been a little bit more versatile, especially with the builds by items, because like I said, with the windows, I feel like we could have used a little bit more variation to fit in other sizes as well. One thing that I will comment on the gameplay is the fact that these student housings have quite a few restrictions that I feel like aren't really necessary, because I've seen all of the live streams from EA and they kept mentioning that they want University to be a global experience, because we simmers are from all over the world, and they said that they wanted this University experience to be a global experience, and they kept saying that. And they put so many restrictions on the student housing that I feel like they contradicted themselves, because for example, in the student housings, you're not allowed to have kitchens. Actually, you're not allowed to have a stove and outdoor grills. those items are locked. So basically, if you put those, this won't be a functional student housing. And to be honest, I don't get the point of that, because I've asked around on Twitter, and what I've learned is that there's so many different kinds of student housing that kind of restriction honestly doesn't really make sense. And one more thing, I'm very disappointed that we didn't get bunk beds in this pack, because bunk beds are very common where I'm from. I'm not sure for you guys, but where I'm from, bunk beds are very common. So I was really hoping for those. On the plus side, I'm really happy with these mini fridges, and I love how you can put stuff on top of them, so we can literally make the tiniest kitchen ever. Now, this dorm does have a shared kitchen, but like I said earlier, we didn't really get to put a stove in here because those are restricted. So the only thing I got to put in here are a mini fridge and a microwave and a coffee maker. But notice that earlier I did get to use the buffet from Luxury Party, and I'm pretty sure that should work. My only problem with using microwaves is the fact that the Sims get tired of eating it at some point, and also if you want to access the cafeteria, you have to go through a loading screen, which I feel like is a little bit too much to ask for players who don't really want to have to go outside and go through all of that hassle just to have a meal. But nevertheless, this is a kitchen for this dorm. It's a shared kitchen, of course. I put that keg in the corner, and believe it or not, that is actually a functional thing. I really wanted this kitchen to be messy and kind of dingy and kind of like the part of the house that nobody really bothered to take care of, because they're like way too, you know, preoccupied with something else. So I wanted this to be that place where they kind of just left it. I did put like the laundry in this room as well, because I felt like that would be a very realistic thing in these kind of houses. So I imagine that kitchen would be kind of like a more utility area. So yeah, moving on to the bathroom. Now this dorm has one shared bathroom, and I'm using the items that came with Discover University in here, which is one of the things that I'm very excited about, are these showers. These individual showers are items that so many of us have been asking for forever, and I'm so happy we got them with the university. To be honest, this is a pleasant surprise because I did not expect to get those showers with this pack. I was expecting to get bunk beds more than those showers, but now that we got those, I'm really happy because we can now make our own custom shower stalls, and also those bathroom stalls as well are also new. And yeah, this is the only bathroom in this house, but yeah, I think it's fine because I did use the public toilet stuff in this anyway, so I think it's fine. Here we have a hallway, and basically I just put some memorabilia in here and some some awards. Just be careful with placing some of the diplomas from Discover University, because when I tried to place them, I couldn't delete them. You can still get rid of them using the undo key, but you can't delete them. I don't know what that is. That's kind of weird. But yeah, this is just kind of like a haul of memorabilia, and now we are moving on to the dorms. Now this dorm has 4 bedrooms, and all bedrooms are furnished for 2 Sims, roommates basically, and the roommate system is one of the things that I'm most excited about university, and I think that system is one of the most useful things outside of university to use, because you guys know me, I love building apartments, I love building townhouses, and having roommates is just such a revelation. It's such a game changer for me. But for the bedrooms in this dorm, I did personalize most of them except for one, which in my mind is kind of like an empty bedroom waiting for its occupants. So if you want to move in here without having to go through the hassle of changing a lot of the stuff that I've already built, if you guys want to have a clean start and want to have a place where you can just decorate yourself and personalize yourself, you can move into that dorm, which is the dorm behind this one. But this one is a dorm for a specific group of Sims. This one specifically was made for an art major who is also an activist. She is a gender activist and an environmental activist as well, and her roommate is a business major who loves to travel and who loves photography and who also loves Marie Antoinette, as you guys can see from her corner of this room, which has this Marie Antoinette poster and also a corkboard filled with postcards from different areas of the Sims universe. But for this room I did go for more of like a minimalist / Scandinavian color scheme because I used mainly light woods and whites. I will change the bedspreads on these beds because I felt like the white was just so boring. So I will change them eventually into something else, but here I am putting the corner for our artist major. I actually used that item from Outdoor Retreat, and that's kind of what inspired me to use the LGBT flag, and I actually had to delete that heart wall piece because that one is from Outdoor Retreat and that's the only item I used from Outdoor Retreat, so I just got rid of that. We still got to keep the LGBT flag and also that like banner for when she's going to protests, and it also has like the rainbow on it as well, so it has that symbolism still in there. Moving on to this second dorm room, now this is definitely more of like a sports major. Is there like sports major, or like is that just an extracurricular thing? But yeah, this is definitely the room that has the most Brightchester school spirit because there's literally a ton of references to this university's brand. And I think the main giveaway for that is the colors because I used green and yellow all throughout. I actually use a lot of Brightchester Pride items in this house, but this room is just like crazy filled with Brightchester stuff. But I thought it was really fun because I feel like sports teams would often have the most school spirit. I have gone to some pep rallies and trust me, it can get pretty crazy. But I did highlight certain sports in here, specifically basketball and football or soccer, depending on where you're from. I'd also put like a weights machine in there as well. And yeah, I'm really happy with this room as well. Once again, I'm doing this technique of putting this basketball in this like laundry hamper thing. I really like that because I see this in, I used to see this in our school gym all the time. They would have like these containers. But yeah, once again, I'm putting like 10 million posters in here. I'm glad that a lot of the posters that we got already in game from like base game and from other packs are actually green because they work really well for the color scheme that I wanted for this build, for this room. And I also put that framed jersey from, what is that, from Parenthood? And yeah, of course we have that Brightchester flag as well with their school mascot, which is a dragon, I think. Yeah, oh my gosh, I love using that rug from Parenthood as well. It has two swatches that are very sports related. We have that soccer swatch and the basketball swatch. Obviously I went for the soccer one because it was in green, which is, you know, the school colors of Brightchester. Moving on to this third bedroom. this room has the music major and the nerd occupants, and this room basically is probably the room that I had this most struggle with when it came to the layout, because I've already done like different layouts in other rooms and I didn't really want to repeat them, so I was kind of changing my mind all over the place as I was building this. But yeah, basically the person living in this room, one of them is definitely a huge gamer, as you can tell from this gaming setup, which for me looks very extreme, and I put a console in there as well, which I don't think works because we don't have like a regular TV. And of course over here on this corner we have kind of like the music major. Is it a music major? I don't know. Is there like a gaming major even? You know what, a tech major sounds realistic. In my school, in my college that I went to, it was music production. So yeah, this is where we have our music corner with some, you know, music related posters and stuff. And I put a piano in here as well, and I also put in a guitar later on as well. But here I'm just putting in some posters and some just nerdy stuff. You know, we have that void critter poster and also like a poster of like a science-y poster as well, which I also really enjoyed. But notice that this bedroom has exact same bed sheets, and I really like that because the bed frames are different but the bed sheets are the same. I don't even know why I'm bringing that up, but I just really like that feature, I guess, detail. But you guys just saw me change the bedspreads for the artist and the business major's bedroom, and now this is basically kind of like the empty dorm. So there's really nothing interesting here, just a bunch of boring items, I guess. This is where I got to use that plain bed swatch as well, some basic items that are ready if you want to move in here. Now moving on to dorms, the roommates will occupy the empty spaces, which is a feature that I really like. And basically you just have to assign the beds if you want to stay in a particular place. I feel like this would also work really well as like a house, because you know, just change the kitchen a little bit and you can move in here, no problem. But now we're working on the exterior, and doing that terrain paint reminded me of another thing that really kind of bothered me in this pack, and that is the lighting and the color of the grass specifically, because I tried building in Foxbury and oh boy, the grass there is literally neon. It's a highlighter green, and that kind of traumatized me a little bit, so I just moved here in Brightchester instead, where the grass is a little bit more subtle, but you can still see some bits of those neon highlighter grass. So I tried to make up for it by making the terrain paint cover it all up, and mostly we're doing the landscaping right now, and I'm mostly using stuff from base game and from Get Together as well, which is kind of like my typical stuff that I use in my landscaping. I love that ivy, by the way, that's so beautiful. And here I'm just putting in some other stuff. I put a bike in here as well because we have bikes, which is something that I'm very excited about. You can also ride them indoors as well, but you know what? I think that's actually going to be it for this build. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up right here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please let me know what you think of it in the comments below, and also please feel free to subscribe and to share the video if you want to see more Sims 4 content from me. So yeah, that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this commentary right here. Thank you so much for watching. Watch out for more university content coming really soon. You all have an awesome day. Enjoy the rest of the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.